So comic number 7. I must say, of all the comics, I think there's something like 730 some. This one is one of my favorites, just because I amused myself with the fact that most of the words that people use in order to sort of describe someone they're attracted to involve food in some way. But this just made it more so because they started deciding to go with, the euphemisms for the fact that she worked at the fast food place. So flip her patties, whatever that means, or shake salt on her fries, or fill up her strawberry. I mean, they stopped making sense almost immediately, and then of course Kenny has the question at the end: Are we even talking about sex? Who cares? I'm hungry, and I think "Who cares? I'm hungry" actually was something that we, as a group of friends, said quite often, and continue to say quite often. Or I think that was actually something that I said once when we were just sitting around talking, and I was talking about, oh yeah, that's pretty awesome and really cool. And then I said cool and thirst quenching and tasty. I'm hungry. So it's just everything always kind of leads back to the fact that you're probably hungry in the first place. Something I want to talk about in yesterday's comic, which you sort of see in the first panel, is the fact that I used to draw from the heads to the knees, but then this is pretty much the beginning of the end for me, where suddenly I started uh, succumbing to what people refer to as talking head syndrome. So my comic just suddenly became talking heads really fast. I was trying to draw the bodies because I didn't want to be just talking heads, and then all of a sudden I just started closing in on them to sort of emphasize the point. Even though there's really no difference between panel 1 and panels 2 and 3, they're just still standing there. They just need to be slightly closer together. So 2 and 3 became the talking head syndrome, which my best example for that was always Diesel Sweeties. I didn't read much Diesel Sweeties because I didn't find it all that funny, but I did recognize the fact that it was just basically just talking heads talking back and forth to each other. I mean, there are comics that can really do well with a very repetitive format. I mean, the prime example of that is Dinosaur Comics, which is the exact same comic every day, but it just changes its dialogue just to be different and quite funny. So I don't know. It started being Talking Heads, and I wasn't too happy about it. But so there's me, the first one, cheating on the hands. Kenny's got his hands in his pockets, Jeff behind his back. The second one, this usually happened in a comic where I liked one head. I didn't copy paste. I didn't like to do that. That didn't seem to be the way that I wanted to do things. So I just tried to. Well, I always drew an individual comic every single panel. I didn't repeat things because that felt like cheating. And I figured the best way to become consistent is to just keep doing it. And that makes sense. But for the first few comics, Kenny looks different in every single one. His smile, oh, what a broken smile he's got in that second panel. Jeff's checkmark didn't work. I realized that I drew his checkmark smile, when he was facing left, so the checkmark would go to the right. I drew those better than I drew the other way. So I started making it so that Jeff was always on the right and facing in. So I started making sure that Jeff was always facing in the same direction, where I could draw it easier. Kenny's haircut is a little inconsistent. Why are their necks so long? I think some of the early ones I made really, really long necks, just because I draw the head, and then I wouldn't want to draw much of the body, so I draw the shoulders way down low, and then I just connect it with a very, very long neck. And they still don't have much in the way of hair at the side of their heads. It's very odd. I think I like the first one better, even though Jeff's face is a little wonky. Anyway, I think that's it for that. I tried using the old dot dot dots there, just to sort of emphasize the trailing off. I don't think I did too much in the way of font. It was always the same font, and maybe every now and then I did capital letters. Oh, well, there you go. I do emphasize things. Look, I'm talking about it right now, and I don't even notice. I like to flip her panties, so it's capital letters. I said panties, didn't I? I meant patties. I think I'm done now.